You filthy animals.
How's my buddies over at the R2 Sonic Campfire doing today?
Never know. Keep them warm.
Oh, man.
You guys should come. You're my good luck charms, man. I always catch fish with you guys.
Is there room on the bus? Because I look at you guys, and the 8 or 9 of you guys impressed me a lot. You know, because I first ran. Okay.
No, go on.
You guys.
I don't do advertising. You're not going to see me on billboards or in newspapers, classifieds, none of that. Well, yeah, there's that because, you guys are awesome. But
Yeah, well, that's comforting to know in case I say something stupid.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're hearing it real
That's
time.
kind of our thing, so don't step on our turf.
Yeah, come on, man.
Oh, man, I hope I don't.
What we're saying is actually new, so that's why we're fumbling a little bit, but it's going to sound amazing.
And we are back. We are around the Sonic Campfire this week, and we are Reality Outdoor Radio, where our mission is to get you outdoors by connecting you to the people, skills, and products that you can trust.
You can trust them.
How about it, guys? This is Bucky, and who do I have around the Sonic Campfire with me tonight?
Andy?
Andy
who?
Andy who?
What?
Spittle.
Hey, Andy.
What's up?
Spittle.
How we
Welcome.
doing?
Yeah, welcome, bud.
Hello. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
But I think it isn't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Stevie.
It's good to have you. I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
Hey guys, it is another week is in the books, and we are again around the Sonic Campfire. And it is important to notice that this is a Tuesday night. Thus, Mr. Spittle is around the table with us tonight.
Andy is Epic. Andy is one of my favorite dudes on the planet.
Me too.
And he does a lot of work behind the scenes here at Rotten River Pursuits HQ. So I really appreciate you just jumping on the pod with us, brother.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Gotta
Andy.
start somewhere.
And what a night, Andy.
Yeah, buddy.
What a night.
Before we get into
Oh,
this
you're
night,
gonna make
Bucky,
me slow roll
I'm
this,
so
Stevie.
sorry. Before we get into tonight, I want to hear from Ryan about this month's sponsor.
Oh, good call.
Orion.
This episode is brought to you in part by Mountain Dew Kickstart.
Yeah, it is.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is a great tasting morning refreshment beverage.
Don't you mean replenishment beverage?
Maybe, but I know I get some refreshment from it.
Yeah, well, I need that replenishment.
Well, maybe we'll just agree to disagree. Or we just agree on the fact that it gives you both, bud.
I can totally get behind that.
It also energizes you in the morning to provide you with that appropriate boost to start your day. Kickstart is a delicious combination of juice, caffeine, and Mountain Dew.
All three.
It's got them, bud.
Triple threats.
It sure is. It sure is. Hey, all those flavor options are out there, too. You got the pineapple, orange, mango, the black cherry, fruit punch, mango, lime. There's even a raspberry citrus. But guess what?
I need to try that pineapple orange mango.
It sounds delicious, but you got Stevie's favorite, of course, the orange citrus.
Orange citrus.
Those
In the
orange cans, they're all full up in the fridge. You got to reach.
You have to wait around them
Yeah,
to
you do.
get to other things. But I usually end up just grabbing one because it's right there, bud.
So, if you want to start your morning off like the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Steve Miser,
I know I do.
just grab yourself a Mountain Dew Kickstart and give your day a kickstart. Delicious.
Well, guys, we're going to need some of that kickstart tonight.
How are you going to kickstart this podcast, Bucky?
Well, if we're going to keep up with the Carolina Hound Runner, Miss Lauren Elizabeth,
you're going to need it.
we're going to need it because
you're gonna
she
need
is running
refreshment.
everywhere.
And you're going to need replenishment.
You ain't a kidding. Lauren, welcome.
Hey, y'all. How are you doing?
Good, and you?
I'm great.
Now, tell everybody. I already know where you're calling in from.
How do you know? You stalk her?
I did some homework.
You stalk her on the Instagrams?
I might have, yes.
_ Carolina
But
Hound Runner.
And it's not too hard to not want to follow along, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because Lauren is, I tell you what, if you can chase it with a hound, she's chasing it.
I'm excited about this episode.
Does she drive a bus?
Huh?
Does she drive a bus?
No. I'm not talking no
not
greyhounds,
that hound,
bud.
bud.
Gotcha.
I'm talking like, well, let's ask her.
Canines.
Let's ask her.
Yeah.
Lauren, Where are you calling
Yes.
from right now? And then before we get into this dog talk, where are you from, Lauren?
I am calling from South Carolina currently.
Oh.
We have a lot of friends down in the South Carolinas.
I love the Carolinas.
Now, is this a right question? Are you in the highlands or the lowlands of South Carolina?
I'm in the lowlands.
Are you?
All right. I'm learning something,
Yes,
guys.
sir.
So
You are, Bob.
lowlands, coastal area then, right?
Definitely not coastal.
Okay.
I'm in the middle region.
All right.
So you aren't learning.
No, I'm not learning,
You're
guys.
going to get it right.
I just know
Learn
that there's
something else
lowlands and
then.
highlands in South Carolina.
You're going to learn today.
Much
gotta
like
learn.
most states.
And they got a lot of bear down there, from what I understand.
Yeah. Really?
Is that
North Carolina has some of the biggest black bear you'll find in the country.
in North Carolina?
Yeah, pound for pound.
Yeah.
Wow. What are they feeding
I
something?
know a kennel that just killed a 561-pound black bear, and then they had reports of a 761-pound black bear that was killed off of a kennel this past weekend, actually.
700-pound black.
We definitely know how to grow bear in North Carolina.
I heard that.
True that.
And now, do they know? Is there a theory why they get that big? Are you
Now, don't quote me on it. You know, I really truly looked into it. The only thing I could truly think of is, you know, unlike bears in the mountains, they don't have to climb. You know, they've got all of that, their food right there at their feet. So they don't have to climb mountains, any of that. They've got all those natural resources right around them. So they have oceans, lakes. It's all right there for them. And there's just so much land on the coast that people do not go off of because it's swamp and everything else that they don't have to work hard, unlike the bears in the mountains that they literally have to forage. But I guess bears on the coast, you can kind of say, are a little spoiled.
Fat and
just
happy.
food everywhere?
Yeah, I would say.
You were just on a bear hunt this past weekend, weren't you, Lauren?
I actually didn't make it.
You didn't?
I ended up being sick, and I did not make it. I was really upset about it.
So what were you going to do? What was your hunt going to look like?
So I was going to be out on the coast on some private land. It ended up actually getting rained out, so I guess I didn't miss much.
Yeah.
They don't really like to do a whole lot on the coast in the rain, only because, you know, it gets really thick and mucky, especially being down in those swamps. So it can be dangerous for the dogs. It can be a pain in the neck for yourself. So not a lot of people do it. Some people still will. Some people still have luck in it. I guess it's all just personal preference, you know, like some coon hunters, they won't hunt under a full moon. They're like, oh no, I'll have no luck. But then you'll have some coon hunters that go out there and they're like, oh no, I just killed myself a couple. I mean, me personally, I'm going to tell you right now, I have no luck on full moons. It is the saddest thing ever to me.
Yep.
And so now when people are like, hey, you want to go coon hunt? I'm like, no, I'll pass. I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not going under this moon.
Catch me on that waning gibbous.
I heard that. I always say that.
Are they waxing?
Either
Waxing
way, it's a gibbous.
That's what I meant.
Waxing or
Yeah, you
waning.
don't want that full moon.
It ain't full.
I don't know.
Nope.
What is that?
Lauren, when you say the coast, like I think, you know, like the beach.
Redfish.
Yeah. I'm thinking like the beach. So I'm assuming you're not bear hunting in the sand there, right?
Well, so when you get close to the coast, you are in some sand. You know, it's not just full sand. It's between sand and red clay or dirt.
Yeah. So
A bunch of
you're that close to the
oceans.
To the ocean.
Atlantics.
Wow.
It depends where you're hunting. You know, also you've got to be careful down there on the coast, just like anywhere, because you have one county where you can run dogs behind bear, and then you jump across the road and you're in a county where you can't.
Oh, so that's not a statewide regulation. That's
No.
Really?
No. Because in some counties here, like you can run bear, you can't run bear. You can run deer, you can't run deer. It's all different types of things.
Per county.
So I know where I was at in Wyoming, they wouldn't even let you run coons with dogs. Like it wasn't happening. Yeah. So, you know, and I have to, you know, respect that, of course.
Sure.
Every hunter does. But
do they let you hunt them
it
at
makes
night?
it hard because my dog doesn't know, hey, if I cross this road, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. So I'm like, oh no. So you got to get in your truck and try to cut this whole pack of dogs off before they go across the road.
Oh man.
You just kind of watch your Garmin and say, hey, I think this is where this bear is going to cross, or, you know, whatever you're running, this is where it's going to cross. Let's see if we can cut this pack of dogs off.
Yeah.
Because you never truly know where your game's going to run. So
I can't imagine.
Well, if you did, you wouldn't need the dogs. You'd just go to that tree.
Exactly.
That's
I'd
another good
have a
point.
lot more money in my wallet.
Yeah,
Exactly, Buck.
Just saying so. I mean,
I know.
Don't take Forrest Gump to figure that out.
What I was gonna say was that the whole Garmin situation is. When I was younger, I have a couple uncles that were just big time into hunting with hounds, and just that Garmin thing. Like when the dogs cut loose, they were gone until they treed.
Yeah, you just hoped you caught up to them that night, or
Yeah,
you
and
picked them up the next morning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so the Garmin thing is crazy. You can watch them go and kind of know where they are roughly, and I do appreciate that as a guy who, you know, as a young guy who was chasing dogs just by the sound of their barks.
Wow. How long have you been doing that, Lauren?
I first started running hounds when I was in 8th grade in middle school, when my best friend growing up, Cody Stone, introduced it to me. He one night just said, hey, you want to go run hounds? And I was like, wait, what? Because I had never been introduced to that before. You know, my family, they were mostly deer hunters, so I never even knew that you hunted with dogs. It just never even crossed my mind. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that sounds fun. And I remember walking out into that field, and the moon was bright. It just completely put just a beautiful glow over the soybean field. I was already so happy. And he said, all right, cut the dog loose. And at the time, the first dog I'd ever run was my dog, Rosie, her dad, Pete.
Yeah.
He was, I believe, 5 years old at the time. And I remember cutting him loose, and I wanted to run after him. And Cody almost had to grab me and say, no, wait, you just got to wait.
Isn't it crazy, though? Like, you're cutting your dog loose in the middle of the night. Like, it's just dark, you know, and like, what? You know?
And I'm already so impatient. So I wanted to go, and he's like, no, just wait. I said, okay.
Let that dog hunt.
I'll never forget, as long as I live, that feeling I got from the very first strike I've ever heard in my life. It sent a chill down my whole spine.
I bet.
And I just wanted to follow it. And he said, wait, Lauren. And I didn't want to wait. Like, I just had to chase that sound. I had to. It's like my legs, it felt like just wanted to run out from under me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just came treed, and it was just one bark after the other. And I looked at him. He's like, okay, now we can go.
Yeah.
And I just ran. I didn't know where I was going, didn't know what I was doing. I just ran.
It's a
And
different
he's like,
sound too,
Lauren,
right?
like, come on. Yeah.
When those dogs
completely different.
when they get treated or they get on something, it's a different sound. And you know, if you put enough time in, you know it.
See, I've only
He's
hunted.
a ball on a track, chop on a tree dog. So, you know, he's ball. And then, you know, maybe like 10, 15 seconds later, if it was a hot track, ball again. And then all of a sudden come trees, chop, 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 chop.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never been able to hunt with dogs at night, and I think that adding the whole aspect of no sun and dark and treeing it, I've always, you know, with the beagles on the ground, and definitely you can tell the different balls that how close
you can
or
tell
if they're
when a beagle
lost.
gets hot,
And again, you know, it's different than the bird dogs, because bird dogs generally do it quiet. And it's just amazing, you know,
That's
working
why
with
I always
dogs.
say bird dogs don't make good podcasters.
No, because they're quiet. They're too quiet. They're for the camera. They're better off on TV.
Honestly, I feel like, to me personally, hunting at night, you know, not being able to see like you can in the daytime, it just brings you that much closer to nature, to those woods. Because, you know, in the daylight, you can just see everything. But at nighttime, you can't rely on your eyes. You have to just pull out all your other senses, and you have to really focus on your hearing. And when you're hunting with dogs, especially with like hound dogs, to me, I can pick my dogs out of a whole pack of dogs. I could be like, that's Rose. With each bark, I can tell you straight right now, like, she's lying to me. She is running something she probably shouldn't. She's running a cold track. She's running a hot track. Or, oh, by golly, we've got a coon treat.
And you can
I can tell you just like that.
Really?
I know that dog, I swear, better than I know myself.
So how long did it take you after that first hunt with Cody? How long did it take you to get your own dog?
So it was probably about maybe 6 months to a year later.
And you were in 8th grade, right? So you were still, I mean, you were young. So you were.
I was young. So I was 14 when I first coon hunted with Cody, and I was like I was just about to turn 15. I turned 15, and it was right as I was turning 16 that I got Rosie. And I'll never forget. He's like, hey, you know, how to litter puppies. And I'll never forget. I was in the mall with my mom. I said, hey, I got to ask you a question, but you have to wait and, you know, let me finish the whole question before you, like, interrupt me.
Yeah. And you
Always
have to say yes.
My mom growing up. Or it would never, like, be a yes. So she's like, okay. I said, so, you know, Cody, best friend, he had a litter of puppies, and he said if I want one, I can buy one off of him, and he'll sell it to me cheap. I had to throw that in there and make it.
Yeah. It's a sale.
I just had recently got my very first job at the coffee shop, so I had my own money. I was very proud of myself.
So you like coffee?
I love coffee.
That's good to know.
And then she said, okay, well, if you pay for it, you pay for the vet bills, and you give this dog all your time. So don't think you're going to have sleepovers or go to your friend's house. I said, that's fine, I promise. So immediately she said yes. I called Cody. I said, when do I get to come pick one out? And he sent me a picture of 3 different puppies, 2 males and a female. And I automatically wanted this male dog. His name was Turbo. He was just beautiful, already fully ticked up, and then big red splotches all over him. For the first 2 weeks after the puppies were born, I visited them all the time. And then came the day to bring him home. Mm-hmm. I felt like it literally took a lifetime to bring this dog home.
Yeah.
So I brought this dog home.
Did you keep the name Turbo, or did you change it?
Well, I was going to. And then I got home. I started giving the puppy a bath. And then I cried. My mom was like, what's wrong with you? And I said, I'm not supposed to have this dog. I was supposed to have that little female. I wanted to name her Rosie, but I just didn't want to speak up. And she's like, call Cody right now. And so I called Cody. I said, Cody, I made a mistake. And so he called up this older gentleman. His name's Boy Sphinx. This man, I swear, is a legend around Cabarrus County. Really? If there's anything to know about a coon dog or any type of bloodline, English bloodline, you go talk to Boy Sphinx.
Why isn't Boy on our podcast then? I'm just kidding.
I would have loved to bring him. But he said, all right, well, let me call up Boy Sphinx. And he called him up, said, hey, Boyce, you know, I got this young girl who really wants this little female. He said, well, give it to her. Give her the dog. So Cody brought back that little white ball to me. Rosie had no speckles on her. She was just white and with a little peanut-shaped dot on her butt. And I knew she had to be mine.
Like Bucky.
And that's literally that's all it took. And from that moment on, Rosie and I were best friends. We did everything together. We learned how to coon hunt together, how to competition hunt, bench show, field trials. We did it all together, start to finish. She treated her first raccoon at 1 year and 2 months old.
Do you ever
1 year and 2 months?
Do you ever keep contact with Turbo?
I don't.
Just afterthought now. Rosie is the one.
Yeah. Rosie was the one. I was always meant to have her.
Yeah, there's pictures on your Instagram account of you. A lot of pictures of Rosie, actually.
Yeah. How many dogs do you have now?
I have 3. I have Rosie. I have a plot hound named Maggie May, and she's the dog I run bear with. She started last year, so she's a new bear dog. And then I have my new dog, my blue dog, Faith Lee, who I got from my good friend Cody, or on Instagram, she's Bawling Blue Reverend.
Yeah.
As a lot of people would know her.
Nice.
So she gave me her dog, and Faith is out of her old dog, Reverend. So she has really big shoes to fill growing up.
All right.
That's great.
Do you train the dogs yourself?
I do. I feel like
wow.
It just means more to you when you train a dog, you know. Anyone, you know, and I know not everyone has time to, you know, train their own dog. I totally understand that. But to me personally, I rather train a dog. That way me and that dog have a set relationship.
Yeah.
That dog knows me and I know it.
Yeah.
I know everything. When that dog messes up, why it messed up, why I did this, why I did that. Because I grew up with that dog. That dog grew up with me.
That's what I was.
So I know all his habits.
That's why Will keeps Stevie around.
That's right. We grew up together.
Yeah.
That's why I always say that. Like, it's just, you know, I wanted to ask you, like, do you train the dog or the dog train you? You know, it's like.
I honestly feel like Rosie trained me more than I trained her.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't even take credit for training Rosie in a way. And, you know, people say you shouldn't say that, but that dog just had so much natural drive. I will forever be amazed by it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just in her blood to run and tree hard. Nothing will ever keep that dog out of the woods. She got real sick last year, had to keep her out of the woods, got real sick this year, and she's just still like jumps the fence, goes and hunts. And I'm like, whoa, come on now. Like, you're supposed to be retired, and she wouldn't have it. So she wouldn't.
She won't have it.
Are you running with friends then? Because you're not treating a bear with one dog, are you?
No. So I have not bear hunted yet this year. I have not bear hunted since the last bear season. I've mostly just been coon hunting, and I got the pleasure to go hog hunting with some friends earlier this year.
Tell us about that, because I know some, you know, guys that have done that, and just it sounds like so much fun. You know, guys you talk to that, you know, have experience doing
all
that.
I can say is adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something I credit the fact that I do, because I only went a couple times, and it wasn't even with my own dogs. I went with other people and their dogs, so I don't even take credit for it. But, you know, they said, you know, Lauren, like, we're not shooting these hogs, but we're sticking them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you know, like, I guess I didn't truly take it serious.
That's next level stuff there.
It's literally just like bear hunting. You've got dogs on the rig, you've got dogs in the box, and you rig them. And then you cut these dogs loose. Or, you know, like when you're in the mountain and you're trying to rig a bear, but you don't. So, you know, you're like, all right, well, let's walk up to the top of this ridge, and that wind will cut up the ridge, and you send the dogs loose down. And then that's how they'll track the bear. Sometimes you just got to walk up the mountain. It sucks, but sometimes you got to do it. But with hog hunting, sometimes you just pick a nice field and say, cut them.
Cut them.
And they picked a patch of woods and said, all right, let's cut them. And they got on a big hog, and they're like, all right, Lauren, this is your hog. And I was like shaking.
Yeah, I can
as
imagine.
if, like, some big buck just walked in front of me. And I haven't even seen the hog yet. They just said, this is your hog.
Right.
And I'm shaking. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And they're laughing at me the whole time, because I can't lie to y'all. I was sleeping most of the time. I was so tired.
Oh.
I had stayed up all night. They told me, we're going to, you know, be ready by 2 a.m., blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? I was like, whatever. So I got there extremely early. I didn't get to sleep. So I slept probably half of that whole hunt.
Yeah.
And then I wake up in the middle of the action, and they're like, all right, well, let's go. So we start running through these woods, literally tripping over every which thing, going through briars, the whole nine. And then we see the dogs bathe with this hog in a creek. And they're like, all right, Lauren, jump in. So sure enough, that's what I did. I jumped in, stuck it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And they're talking me through the whole thing. So I'm just like, literally like reading a book, doing everything they're telling me to do.
So you said you stuck it. Were you using a bow or
No, a knife.
A knife.
Not even
up
a long
close and
spear.
personal, huh? Not even a spear.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Very up close and personal.
So how you
and
in the creek with the dogs,
and they just don't let you come up and pet them either, do they?
No, you got dogs.
They're kind of mean.
So you've got, you know, your couple dogs that you choose as your catch dogs. So those are the more stronger. Like,
they're tough.
They're not built for speed. They're just built when those dogs already have a base to run in there and hold that hog down. So they're the dogs and they're really holding this hog down for you. And then another guy will like come up behind the hog and sometimes pick those legs up.
Yeah.
And that's when you get on or next to that hog and stick it.
Get on it.
What type of dogs were you using?
To be honest with you, like that is a very, very clean, very efficient way to dispatch an animal. Like it's point blank, basically.
Yes, it is.
How do you normally decide like who gets to do that when there's a group of you? I always ask this question. There's some variation of this question.
Leg wrestle.
Old-fashioned leg wrestle.
Honestly, just, people saying, hey, I want to take the hog this time, or hey, I want to do this, or hey, I want to do that. Just kind of like, when you're on a bear hunt, some people will be like, hey, I really want to fill my tag, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, not a problem. Or sometimes they're saving it for other people.
Sure.
So it's kind of just, who's going to take it, who's not.
You're obviously not going to walk up and stick a bear, but did you ever have a bear bayed on the ground and not tree?
So I didn't have one bayed. We had it up in a tree.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'll never forget the time when I actually had a bear fall on my feet.
Holy cow.
What happened?
That happened. So what happened was it was about an 80-pound juvenile.
Okay.
And we had tied all the adult dogs back. And they're like, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bang on the base of this tree, kind of simulating that someone's chopping this tree down.
Yeah.
And that bear is going to come down. It's literally just kind of like a raccoon. Sometimes you can get them to come out when you bang on a tree, like out of like a den hole or something like that.
Do you
Doesn't
do that,
always
Andy?
work. Sometimes it will. Sometimes
You can do it. Yeah,
won't.
it works. It's legit.
But for the most part, it'll work on a bear. So we tied all these dogs back and kept a couple of the puppies. I had my flathound puppy, Maggie. She was 7 months old at the time, in between my legs. I didn't even tie her back.
Yeah.
And
do you ever
the boys
have
were
to-
banging on the tree. And then all of a sudden, this bear comes down way too fast. And by the time I look up, he's on my feet. And I shoved my dog, Maggie, straight into him. And I literally have a clip on my phone of when I just shoved her into this bear. Like, I had my phone ready, and I guess I just pressed it and pushed my dog, Maggie, into the bear, and that bear took off.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
That's just amazing. It's one of those like moments in time that like you don't really, you can't process, and it's definitely something that people who don't hunt will ever understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something you really can't explain until they do it.
Yep.
There's just some things you can't truly like put in a perspective for somebody until they're in there doing it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I totally see what you're talking about.
I love it.
But Laura, I just don't see you sitting in a tree stand being a whitetail hunter only. After looking at your Instagram, you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie, aren't you? Because you don't even choose to ride in a saddle. You like to stand on them.
Just stand on the horses, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was one of my showstoppers. So I was actually a guide in Wyoming. So I would take you out on horseback through the Teton National Forest.
Oh, that's a beautiful country.
When I had a big group, what I would do is I would get up to a certain point where I usually took pictures, and everyone was talking. So I would just stop my horse and I'd stand up on that saddle and be like, okay, can I have everyone's attention? And they'd be like, how'd you get up there? And I was like, what do you mean? I just stood up.
Stood up.
And they'd be like, there's no way. And I'm like, no, there's a way. I just stood up. And then I would, sometimes, sit sideways in the saddle or sit backwards in the saddle and talk to people. And they're like, what are you going to do if this horse gets spooked and takes off? And I'm like, well, I better hold on tight.
Now, did something happen then? Because there's...
Yes. I did get in a really bad accident this year. Not my fault, not the horse's fault. It was another person's fault, but things happen. Basically, the horse I was riding hadn't been ridden in quite a long time, but I still needed to get him out on these trails. And I was taking a 4-hour ride out, so I thought it was the perfect opportunity. Unfortunately, I had to get off the saddle several times to fix the situation. By the third time I had to get back up on him. He was very irritated and just was not having it at that point. So what happened was I backed everyone up after I got everyone's attention finally, and I got my right foot in the stirrup, placed my butt in the saddle, and before I can get my left foot in the last stirrup, he started bronching on me, just awfully bronching. And what happened was my head slammed into a tree, and then when I fell, my head broke my fall on a fallen stump.
Oh my!
I got knocked out cold, and when I came to, people were like, "Run for help! Run for help!" Blah blah blah. Thankfully, we were only about 500 yards from the corral, so people could just run right back down the mountain, and they were there, and they could get help. It took a 15-minute ride just to get to the nearest doctor. No ambulance came out where we were at, so they drove me in a pickup. My friend Taylor had the assignment to keep me up because I kept falling asleep, and I had lost the vision in my left eye for a couple hours. I thought that was it. There's my career.
Yeah.
Because I can't see anymore. And I ended up staying in the hospital for 4 days. I had a grade 2 liver laceration, severe concussion, severe contusions to my right lung, and severe contusions to my sternum.
Golly.
And the doctor told me I won't be riding horses for the rest of the year and that I have to go back home to North Carolina. So my dad drove all the way out there and came and picked me up and drove me home.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was too. I was supposed to help guide elk hunts that year and be one of the packing guides. So I had some truly amazing opportunities ahead of me. And I mean, everything happens for a reason. You know, I got a great career opportunity back home. So, I mean, everything ended up working out for the long run. But I wish I could have kept up with what I had.
Yeah. You got on a podcast.
You're one tough cookie, that's for sure.
Oh, no doubt about that.
I had to point that out to the fans just because scrolling through, seeing that, I had to ask about that because everything you chase bear, you chase coon, you ride horses, you stand on the saddles, you're full on outdoors. Yeah. I want to be you
when you grow up.
I want to be you, Lauren. Yeah, when I grow up.
There's nothing more I love than the outdoors.
Hey, we can't not talk about all these raccoon that you have stacked up. What are you doing with all them? You put up your own?
You would be interested in that.
I would be. I don't know
who
need
to give Lauren some full disclosure, though.
I know. Andy's had his own podcast, but it's been a little bit. Andy he's our resident trapper, and this guy lives trapping, predator trap. You know,
buying fur.
He could do it all.
Yeah. So what are you doing with them? Do you put them up yourself or sell them?
So a lot of the raccoons I killed in South Dakota. That's where I killed that big majority of raccoons I killed.
Okay.
A lot of those pelts were sold or given to other people.
Very cool.
I shot a 35-pound raccoon there.
God, 35.
Incredible. Woo. Oh. Me and my brother, we actually made jokes that it was a baby mammoth I killed and not a raccoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bigger than your dog.
I never knew South Dakota.
Just about.
Like growing up, you always heard about South Dakota for upland birds, you know, for pheasant. But until tonight, I never realized.
No, and
raccoons are that.
The coyote population up there is great, but I didn't honestly know the raccoons.
Oh, obviously so. They're eating well off the raccoons.
And big, yeah. I don't think I.
Well, you gotta also think about in South Dakota, there's nothing but fields, and you know it's nothing but farmland. So they're literally during the summer just have unlimited resources of food, and they're just hammering down on some corn and everything else.
Grocery store.
So during the winter, they're just massive. God. They're absolutely massive.
Now, are they slow? Because they're so big? Or?
All right, so y'all want to hear a really funny story?
Yep.
I'm going to tell you a really funny story. So, actually, there's a bus running in front of me right now. I'm actually driving. There's a bus in front of me.
Send it.
Send it.
Send it. We were running the dogs, and the dogs ran up in this old abandoned farmhouse. So the dogs had gotten in this house and were just going ballistic, just ballistic. So we're like, all right, let's go. And they're like, Lauren, I'm telling you right now, they're in a small space. You're the smallest one here. You're going in. And I was like, all right, going in. That's fine. And sure enough, these dogs had gone down in the creepiest basement you have ever seen in your life.
No.
Creepiest.
Stop this
and
story.
And they had gotten in this small crawl space.
No.
Hey, this is my normal Tuesday minus the dog. So let her.
No, that's where clowns live.
So my two good friends, Nathan and Alec, they look at me and like, all right, you ready? I said, all right, help me, lift me up. They have to, so these boys are tall, like 6'4", 6'5", like tall. And then there's me, I'm 5'7", I'm short, okay? So they lift me up into this hole with the little 17. And I'm like, I have my little headlamp on. And I turn my head, not even at a 90-degree angle yet.
No.
And sure enough, this fat raccoon and all of his little homies are staring at me, and I scream bloody murder. And these boys pulled me out of that hole so fast. They're like, what's wrong? I said, I swear to you.
There's a clown in there.
These raccoons almost jumped me. I said, they were huge.
Yeah, you almost got swooped.
And they said, they looked at me like, all right, well, you want to just move on? I said, heck no, put me back in that hole. Like, are you serious? I said, put me back in the hole. Yes, I'm going back in. Sure enough, I go in that little hole, start popping off around, and I take 4 raccoons out of that hole.
Yes.
Nothing under 20 pounds.
Wow.
Literally huge. And then I'm toting them back. They're like, Lauren, let me help you carry them. I'm like, no, I shot them. I'll carry them back.
Yeah,
I
love it.
All right, so now this snow is like 3+ feet deep. Like, this is South Dakota in the middle of a blizzard.
3 feet deep, and you got 80 pounds of coon.
Yeah, because you're in the negative 20s at this point.
Whoa.
So it's cold.
That's true.
The snow is high, and you've got all these raccoons on your back. You're cold, you're tired, but I was just so happy to be shooting.
You did
all
that
these
just to warm
raccoons
up.
that I was
Yeah, you could cut one
on
open and
cloud
sleep
nine.
in it.
Yeah.
They're that big,
And
like
they were
a
like-
tauntaun.
They were like, oh, those aren't even big. Those are average. I'm like, are you kidding me? I said, I'm from North Carolina where if we shoot a 10-pounder, we're flipping out.
Yeah, your coon
No, are
aren't
you
worth
serious?
anything.
I'm
down
like,
there.
yeah.
Really?
No,
I'm like,
they're
we don't see stuff like this back home.
Why are their bears so big, but their coons are so small?
There you go.
That's
I just had to even it out.
Fluctuations.
Yeah, it is. I bet you the bear eating the coons.
They're getting fat
But
off the raccoons.
We shot well over 30 coons in just like the 3-day period I was there.
Dang.
Wow.
It was absolutely
That
incredible.
sounds like a great
the
time,
one
man.
raccoon,
Coon-mageddon.
my biggest raccoon, he was probably right around 37, 38 pounds.
My
And
goodness.
that was the biggest one I killed. And when that thing dropped, I didn't even touch it. And I just looked at my buddy Nathan. He's like, just sitting there looking at me like, what?
It was like when
And
that
I'm like-
bear fell on you.
Are you sure you weren't really going after Wolverines? They were telling you that they're raccoons and they're really like Wolverines or something?
Probably. They're probably just kidding with the little Southern girl.
God. I'm still flabbergasted over the size
So,
of the
and
raccoon.
I think I heard you said you're using the 17 HMRs.
What are you
It
shooting
was
with?
just a little Remington 17.
Okay.
Okay.
Little, what's it called? Little lever action.
You popped 3 raccoons with the
4.
4 raccoons with the lever action. I would have loved to have seen that.
yeah.
I'd have loved to have seen
Annie
that
Oakley stuff.
working.
Pump,
Yeah.
shoot. Yeah.
Oh,
But
They were laughing at me. They're like, I
Yeah.
have never met a girl like you. And I said, and you never will again.
You are a tough cookie. And I don't think I'll ever talk to somebody quite like you
thanks for tolerating
and
us.
putting up with Bucky all night. That's for sure.
Of course.
And we didn't even get into you even fly fish.
what?
I didn't
Yeah,
see
Stevie, you didn't even
I
know
did.
that.
Oh man, where was that?
That was up in the Appalachians.
Oh my.
Where at in the Appalachians?
Yeah. So
Were
it
they-
was a
were
little
they
past
natives?
Asheville.
Okay. Oh, so you were in the southern Appalachians.
Yes.
We live up in the northern or mid Appalachians, I
Well, we're
guess.
kind of northern, mid,
Mid northern.
north mid.
Yeah, North Mid, definitely.
That's how it's classified.
Lauren, I hate to do this.
No, we didn't even talk the fishing yet.
I
I didn't ask about the bobcat.
Yeah,
wanna
that
ask
was a
about
heck
the
of a bobcat.
All right,
Lauren, did you get a bobcat?
I did get a bobcat.
How'd you get it?
So a good friend of mine, Isaac, he's a trapper. And I said, I want you to teach me about it. You know, it's such an old tradition.
Mm-hmm.
He said, okay. So he taught me how to set traps and everything else. And
It probably took you like 30 seconds to be an expert.
I don't know. I was really surprised about all the different things they do. You know, kind of thought you set a trap and you go, all right, there we go. But he actually showed me all these really cool things. And I was really amazed by it. And I would love to really, truly try it out one day. And once I buy property of my own, do it.
Yep.
Because it's something you can do in the off season when there's not a lot going on.
Yeah.
Sorry we didn't get to talk about fishing, Stevie.
Well, so this bobcat, that's how long were you trapping before you got a bobcat?
No. So it was out on one of his lines. It wasn't out on one of, I didn't have a line out.
Check trap for like 2 days and had one.
Wow. That's still, though, I mean.
That's a beautiful bobcat.
That is a beautiful bobcat.
It was a beautiful. I'm actually getting it mounted.
Nice.
Oh.
But, a friend of mine who, when he was training one of his coon dog puppies, he said, so my dog finally treed tonight. His dog's 8 months old. I said, really? To shoot it out to him? He said, no. I was like, why? He said, he treated a really big bobcat.
Oh.
Wow.
I was like, are you serious?
How often does that happen?
Yeah. I was like, you better keep that freaking dog on bobcat because finding a bobcat dog is really, really hard.
Really?
Bobcats, they say, are literally the toughest game to run with dogs.
More so than lions.
So smart, so quick. Oh yeah.
Wow.
They say they're 10 times harder than mountain lions.
Wow.
Now, you know, I don't run either of them, so I can't, you know, state a fact.
Yeah.
But that's from most of the people who do run cats. That's what they tell me.
Wow.
Okay.
They say literally the bobcat is the hardest game to run with hounds, and I believe it.
Yeah.
They say if you ever find a dog that'll run a bobcat, never let that dog go, because you'll never probably find one in that year or another year or blah, blah, blah. I was like, wow.
Lauren, I hate to do this.
Don't do it then.
I hate to do this. We're coming to the end of the show, and this is a time where we ask you 5 questions. We call this the Fast 5. So what we're going to do is ask you 5 questions, and you just say the first thing that comes to mind. This is, you know, rapid fire. We're going to ask 5 questions. We're going to kick it off with Andy. There are no wrong answers.
No,
but
I want the second one because I know the answer.
Andy wants number 2.
Yeah.
All right.
You already know the answer.
I already know the answer.
Okay.
Right,
How do you know?
Let's write it.
I'm just going to bet.
Write it down first.
I'll bet you a Mio in a...
I don't.
IPA.
Maybe I could finish
You win.
teeing
All
this
right,
up.
so yeah,
and then
finish.
we can,
I'm sorry, guys. We're interrupting Stevie.
I'm going to kick us off with the question number 1, and then we'll just go around the table here. So, number 1,
Okay.
Lauren.
Nice.
What is one thing you can't live without in the outdoors?
One thing I can't live without in the outdoors.
Yeah.
That's a very broad question.
Yeah.
No, yeah. That's why we
No wrong
designed it
answers.
like that. There's
No
no
wrong answers.
wrong answer. But we'll tell you if they
Then I'm
are.
going to say my dog, Rosie.
I love that answer.
I do too. And I wanted.
And the only reason why I say that is it is a dog's natural instinct to find water and food.
Really? I
You
just
got a
So
survival
she'll
kit
help me
built in.
find food.
I love Rosie, and I've never met
I never
her.
met her. She seems really special, though. Andy?
All right. Question number 2 is, what is your favorite movie, and is it Where the Red Fern Grows? Oh, that was a book.
Yes. It
Yeah.
is my absolute favorite movie.
Score.
What?
How'd you know that?
Because it's about hunting with dogs.
Oh.
Oh, my.
It was my mom's actual favorite movie growing up, and she's literally told me that ever since I got into coon hunting, she's like, little
Wow.
did I know I would have a daughter just like that little boy.
Oh,
is
that's
way
cool.
I don't believe in coincidences. That's for sure.
Mm-mm.
It was meant to be.
Very cool.
What is the one thing that you do daily to prepare for your outdoor lifestyle?
I run and exercise.
Oh,
Okay.
that's great.
That's way more than me.
I know. That's true.
Yeah, I start the truck.
You warm up the truck.
That too. Hey, you've got to walk out to that truck. So
That's right, brother.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Number 4. These are really fast 5s.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the fastest rounds.
Yeah.
So I might take her down a notch with this question.
Oh, boy.
Number 4, what's on your bucket list? And I know you got a lot going on, so just hit us with.
bucket list.
Yeah, you got to have a good bucket list.
I want to camp in the Grand Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Like down in there?
Yeah.
Or just on the rim.
I want to go off trail, camp in the Grand Canyon, and I want to bring all of my dogs and get some of the most incredible pictures.
Oh, that would be sweet.
And of course, my what I call it's like I don't even know what the word to give to you, but you know what everyone knows me for, which is that picture of Rosie bawling at the sky.
Yeah.
That's the picture I need to take.
I am totally infatuated with this dog.
Yeah.
I'm
with the painted desert in the background.
Thank you so much for
That
sharing a little bit with us. We have one more question.
One more question, Lauren. What makes you happy?
Having another day of breathing and living.
Oh,
I
wow.
love it.
I love.
That's my favorite answer.
You know what?
I love that question.
I think is it coming from a perspective of having a situation like you had out in Wyoming? Is that the thing that makes you a little bit more appreciative of that, or is it just, or were you like that before the accident?
I'd have to say it truly kind of kicked in when the first time I lived with my family, the first time I went to Wyoming. You know, when you grow up, you're kind of in a safety net with your family and being in your own home. And then when you really first take that first leap away from home and know what it's like to truly be an adult and to not always have someone right on your hip to lean on, you don't ever take your day for granted. You take everybody and, telling them I love you or goodbye. You don't take those things for granted. Yeah. You take, I had another day of living. I had another day, hugging my mom or my dad or my brother, living my dream career or getting on a horse or unclipping my dog lead. That was another day of living that you don't just get life.
Yeah, very awesome.
You got another day, so go make the best of it. Go live your life.
That's a really great answer.
Wow.
That's a really great answer.
I could do a whole nother episode just tailing off of that sentiment right there with you.
It just makes me feel like I'm not doing enough. I need to start kicking more ass. I'm not lying.
That's the truth.
I need to stand on more saddles, guys. That's what I've learned.
I don't know if you should, Buck. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I'm your best buddy, and I don't want you doing that.
There's one to each side.
I need a little pony. It's closer to the ground then.
I'll tell you really quick something. The reason why I stand on those saddles is because if I can't stand on that saddle, then I don't need to be on the horse, because if I can't stand on him, that means he doesn't trust me. And if he doesn't trust me, I have no reason being in that saddle.
Okay.
Because you have to trust each other to truly be riding that horse.
I let Bucky stand on my saddle.
A horse is a fight or flight animal. So if he doesn't trust you, then guess what? That first little thing that scares him, that's it.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
He's not going to run.
Yep.
Wow. So then you're together, you're partners.
Your waters run deep, young lady. That's for sure.
That's true, Bucky.
Lauren, thank you.
I'm going to say this. I need another episode with this girl.
You're giving away another episode?
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one that never got that.
Well, you didn't get deep like this.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. This was
intrigued me.
Sorry.
This was this was a really great episode. We don't get to talk with. We talk with a lot of different hunters, a lot of different outdoorsy folks, but not a whole lot of people that do what you're doing.
No, that's niche.
Yeah, it sure is, and it's great. I appreciate you.
And you've
being willing to share that with us.
And she's packed it all into a young life already.
Yeah.
I mean, holy cow, what are you going to do? You still have 3 times your life to live. Hopefully I'm an 80-year-old man podcaster and I can interview her in another.
Carry the one.
Carry the ones.
So, Lauren, if people want to follow along with what you've got going on, what's the best way for them to do that?
You can just follow my Instagram page. It's the best way to keep up with all my crazy travels and very random trips I take with the dogs. And it's _ Carolina Hound Runner.
Yeah,
You'll
Carolina Hound Runner.
never mess something.
Check it out. It's you have a really good,
Epic
good
is the right
page.
word.
You won't be
A lot of
sorry,
cool
folks.
pics.
Yeah.
At all.
Will mentioned a few minutes ago, asked you about your love for coffee.
Did you hear me say that?
I did, yeah. And it was kind of
Been weighing
coincidental. Yeah.
on you. It's been weighing on your heart?
It's been weighing on my heart. We're actually going to, if you could hang on the line here for a few minutes, we're going to get some information from you to send you out send you out some coffee from our friend Denny over at Duck Blind Coffee Company.
Get you to migrate
That'd
on
be
over
awesome.
to a better cup.
That's right, brother.
Migrate to a better cup. They're good folks over there. So hang tight, guys. Before we kick this pig, let's hear.
We need to hear from Ryan.
We hear from Ryan. Yeah. One more time, Ryan.
Oh, Ryan.
This month's episodes are brought to you in part by Protection First Class Outdoors. PFC lubes were designed and developed to protect and lubricate your firearms, your bows, your tree stands, heck, all your outdoor equipment. Guys, I'm telling you, this stuff was originally designed to use in automotive undercoatings. Now, it don't get more corrosive than that.
I heard that.
That's true.
Make sure you head on over to pfcoutdoors.com. Check out everything they got going on over there. Pick up some of that lube. It's the ticket.
All right, Lauren, thank you very much for spending some time with us tonight. This was a great episode, and we look forward to following along with you.
Thanks y'all so much.
Thank you. Bucky?
Yeah, buddy.
How can people follow along with us? Where can they find us?
They can find us on all the socials. That's like the Instagrams, Facebook, Twitter at Rutten River Pursuits. On the YouTubes, they can get a hold of us at Rutten River Pursuits Podcast. And of course, you can always get us on the World Wide Webs, if you will.
www.
At RuttenRiverPursuit.com. And don't forget, you can download this episode and all our episodes at all those podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.
iHeart says radios.
Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff.
You like the Spotify's, Andy Spittles?
Yeah, Will told me about that, and I love it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Good deal.
Guys.
All right.
Carolina Hound Runner.
Mm-hmm.
What a fun episode.
Really
I learned a lot.
I did too.
35-pound coon.
My goodness. This could easily be like 3, 4, 5 episodes. We didn't even get to talk about the mechanics.
Bucky.
We didn't even rig them weedless, guys.
Bucky's standing on his chair. Calm down.
Easy,
but
Buck.
we got to go.
All right. All right, guys. Later.
Rig 'em weedless.
Trash Panda Hip Service is not here.
And so now when people are like, hey, you want to go coon hunt? I'm like, no, I'll pass. I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not going under this mess.
Catch me on that waning gibbous.
I heard that. I always say that.
Are they waxing?
Either
Waxing
way, it's a gibbous.
That's what I meant.
So, actually, there's a bus running in front of me right now. I'm actually driving. There's a bus in front of me.
Send it.
Send it.
Send it. No. And they looked at me like, all right, well, you want to just move on? I said, heck no, pull me back in that hole. Like, are you serious? I said, pull me back in the hole. Yes, I'm going back in. Sure enough, I go in that little hole, start popping off around, and I take 4 raccoons out of that hole.
Yes.
Nothing under 20 pounds.
Wow.
Literally huge.